Hey, Chef Ro here. Today I'm going to teach you how to deal with scallions, or as you may know them, green onions, okay? Especially in summertime cooking, but throughout the year in several cuisines. You use a green onion or a scallion because it has a slightly milder flavor than the traditional bulb onions that we think of. So a lot of cuisines want that milder flavor, or it is more quick cooking. So it'll cook faster in something like a stir fry or something like that. But there are a couple things to know about it. Number one, the white part in general, you want to try and use only when it's cooked, because it does taste like raw onion, so it can be overpowering in a dish if you use the white parts without cooking them first. It's like putting a red onion raw straight into something. If you like that, that's fine, but it can be overpowering to the other flavors. However, the green part you never want to cook. Unless you're cooking it very rapidly and you're looking for something very bitter, the green part up here is going to get quite bitter when it's cooked. So you really want to try green part, usually as garnish, white part as the part you cook. Okay, you want to separate those two parts. Okay. When you're cutting a green onion, like I said, you're going to keep that green part separate from the white. The green part, you always want to try and cut on the bias, which is a really fancy word for diagonally. Very, very, very important. Has a very specific reason why we do that also. It looks prettier. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's really the only reason. But that is a key because, as I mentioned, you're using this as garnish quite frequently. So it will look prettier as a garnish. So you're going to move your knife, not the product. You always usually want to keep your product this way. And your knife is going to go at the angle. And you're going to try and get it as thin as possible. If you watched my video on basil, you'll understand it's because if I have these nice thin pieces, every bite is going to have just that hint of green onion flavor. Whereas if I do a big piece like this, one bite will taste like nothing but green onion and one bite will have no green onion flavor. So you really do want to get as thin as possible. In that video I said TGI Fridays fine dining. It's always my thing. Okay, so we always want to try and get for it as thin as we possibly can. That way that hint of green onion in every bite is there. Now you can just keep going straight down the line with the white part, but I'm going to pretend I've already cut that here so I can show you. So you can just keep going at a bias. If you're doing this in like a stir fry or something, you can even go at a really deep bias, something like this, which is really fun to stir fry and add to your stir fries. But in general, you'll usually find that you're going to just go straight across like this when you're cutting the base of it. Okay, that's because this is going to be the most closely resembling a dice of an onion that you can get out of this. That way it'll cook at the same rate that a diced onion will. It'll still cook a little more quickly, but it'll still have that same texture in your food, etc., that a diced onion would. Now that you know how to cut green onions, you can use them in every dish. And another sneaky little secret is, if you take this and cut it off like right about there, leave those roots intact. Sometimes I'll trim the bottom of them just a little bit so that you have roots only about that long. If you were to take this and plant it in your garden, it'll grow right back and you'll have green onion tops as long as you need them. Just keep snipping.